In my Chemistry 1B lab, we were given a list of chemistry-related projects to do as a group of 4. So my group of 3 and I got together and decided on the bouncing egg project. But that was taken by another group. So we instead decided to do the rock candy project. But that was also taken by another group. Much less to say, we decided to accept the invisible ink project on a whim. Although we had no idea what kinds of invisible ink they were or how to make them in the first place. So we got to researching. Quickly, my 2 lab partners found what they want to do for their invisible ink project. I myself was looking for an invisible ink that would activate upon being yelled at, because I am an idiot. So, when I found nothing, I was left with no other ideas. That was until one of my partners showed me quite possibly the funniest chemical do-it-yourself website in all of Google. It was an invisible ink recipe based on yellow highlighter, where you just literally boil the stick in water by using a microwave. The idea being that you would only be able to see the ink under ultraviolet light. To me, it would be enjoyable to take this crappy guide and improve upon it, because I'm just egotistical like that. And I need to stretch out this video to 10 minutes anyways. Highlighters, specifically of the yellow variety, contain fluorescent pigments mixed in with the pyrene dye, also known as pyranine. This fluorescence is what makes highlighters seem much brighter, and under ultraviolet light really pops out. Although this fluorescence only makes up about 5% of the chemical makeup of the highlighter. The rest is a combination of water for dilution, glycol for the ink's other properties, and biocide to prevent bacteria and the like from growing. This biocide is most likely either benzene, xylene, and or toluene. For step 1, stuff needed, we need only a highlighter and a mug of water. But I did add a cutting board just in case the FBI decides to finally raid my house. For step 2, take it out, we will take out the ink container and the little marker bit at the end. For step 3, microwave, quote, put the tube end tip into a cup of water, put the microwave until it starts boiling. In my, albeit limited experience boiling highlighter solutions, I've learned that it can boil quite violently.
Oh shit, cut.
There's no change in color in the solution, so I'm left to suspect that it's either the glycol or the biocide mixing with the water, or how it interacts with the boiling water that causes it to boil quite violently, if I'm being honest. For step 4, into the water, you take out the tube out with pliers and squeeze what's left of it. The idea is to make sure that the ink is as drained out of the container as possible. Step 5, thin. No, we're not done. We're instead supposed to dilute the solution until it's clear, but also still dark. That's literally an oxymoron. Also, we're supposed to boil the solution again in the microwave. And because of what happened last time we tried boiling the solution highlighter. It almost exploded in my microwave. We decided not to do either of these things. For step 6, the only step that doesn't have a title for some reason, you're supposed to put the pen back together and use it like a quill back in the 16th century. I don't get it. I guess you're supposed to be more detail-oriented, but we instead just used brushes for our final showcase, so we doubt it's made a big deal. For our process, we're going to need to set up a few things first. A piece of glassware, a funnel, and a pot of water to start boiling. The idea is we want to use the fabric-like material that contains the ink as both a filter and an indicator for how concentrated our solution is of highlighter. We stuff it in the funnel and let the boiling water pour through it. When our water started boiling, I then cut open the container holding the highlighter ink. That is, until I dropped it. Fortunately, it didn't make a big mess, and we were able to continue on with the procedure. Something that I would like to mention is I wish that our funnel was a bit thinner. The one I found in my dad's garage was not only plasticky, but also pretty wide. The nozzle was pretty wide. A thinner nozzle would allow us to filter in through more of our solution through the fabric. We didn't get all the ink out of the fabric, although, like I said before, it turned out to be a good indicator of how much of the ink was filtered through, and judging by the color of the solution, we were still in the green.
So cute.
I then put the solution back onto the stove, but not before learning a fun fact from a guest.
I care about potatoes.
Seriously.
We care about potatoes too, Lavina. Moving on. Not only does boiling the solution over stovetop allow for more control if the solution gets too violent, but we can better see how much water we are removing from the solution, making it more concentrated. Unfortunately, we ended up not boiling enough of it to make a big difference. Ideally, we would see the solution getting a slight bit more darker, but due to time constraints, we had to end it early. After pouring it in some glass, we then added distilled vinegar. Since the pyranine dissolves in the acetic acid, resulting in making the solution more colorless, and in my opinion, pops out a lot better under UV light. And that's about it. The solution doesn't seem clear, but trust me, on any surface, you won't be able to notice. Despite me actively bullying someone on the internet, I will admit that my procedure could have been a bit better. But to be honest, for something I spent about 12 hours on and being limited to a kitchen and a noisy guest, I'm pretty proud of myself. I wanted to thank my partners for working with me on this video and dealing with my very noisy father, who just stood there in the background and never stopped talking. Ladies, gentlemen, thank you for watching this video. And for those who had to watch this video, I am not apologizing for this time I took from you. I also want to thank YouTuber Now Red for being the inspiration of this video's format. Oh, and if you aren't watching Nigel, I dare you to bully my procedure like they bully you on the Safety Third podcast and improve upon my procedure. Come on, Nigel. You won't.